All right, so I guess I'll just talk this way first. It's Sunday, or no, it's Saturday, March 1st. Made it. March 1st, I have completed wiring the batteries for the BMS. Extremely time-consuming operation, but very important in my opinion. And I will be using the BMS to handle the charger input. So it will be able to balance the cells while it's charging. I think that's the key thing that it's doing. I'm not using the BMS for the output because I just need full power of the packs of the battery, but I will have monitoring now, be able to see what's going on with every cell. So let me give you a little rundown. Last week I wired in this entire line, which included that entire connector and a few wires on this connector, because this is 8 cells, but in each one there's it's 8 modules, but in each one there's 4 cells, 2 in parallel, so it's more like 16 batteries. So that's why we've got 16 inputs, negative through positive. And then this here is acting as our bus bar. It's going through a 400 amp fuse up into the next pack. So this is where it's being monitored for that connection there. And I like this idea of putting the fuse in the middle of the pack. That's like very Tesla, to just split the pack in half. That way you only have 60 volts and 60 volts if you disconnect that, or that blows. So I think I'm gonna run, so this is pack negative, and that over there is going to be pack positive, and then this is going to run, so positive's running, but I think pack negative, I'm going to run that through to my emergency off switch here. So but then again, the contactor is going to be back here, so I'm going to have to go through that. I'll show you the wiring in a second, the cables that I have, but I do have this one, putting it through the contactor, the fuse, which I think is a good idea, and then we'll have to handle the output separately from pack positive, but I think I'm going to use the pack ground as the shutoff, so it would just cut the negative side, and then that side will be controlled with the contactor. I think that's the way I'm going to go. Anyway, this here is going up into this loom here, and then there's the last one here. So you've got another 16 between these two. And then the instructions are pretty clear with this ANT BMS. Got it from AliExpress for $80 or something, pretty cheap. So pack negative goes to this. So the BMS basically breaks the ground side of the pack, so that's also going to be pack negative. So, you don't want to touch that and any other part of the battery pack, obviously, because it's probably live. Yeah, it also has those little black wires are the temperature sensors, and this little 2 black wires coming off. This, when you short them together, that's what powers up the BMS. So even when it was connected, it did not wake up. You have to short the switch, which I read in the instructions beforehand, so I was expecting to do that. But you can see the little blinky lights are on, and there's a power light on the back. And the app is really cool. So maybe I'll do a little video of the app real quick. But you know, this is one more step in the right direction. I think like what I did here with just kind of like putting the fuse where I want it, maybe just tape it down. The idea here is just like, you know, get the covers on, bolt the batteries in, kind of rough in the wiring. Let me just go over the wiring real quick. Well, it's not, so I've got these, I went over all these, I cleaned them up. This is 4-gauge welding wire. It's really not the best. I should at least go 2-gauge or 0, but maybe that's version 3.0. The car ran fine on these. It's not pulling a ton of amps, I think, you know. Yeah, these wires are going to go to the 3-phase from the inverter, and then I have these, which I'm definitely going to shorten because I think I had like maybe 10 feet like spooled up in the back here that I didn't need. So shorten the wires, reduce the voltage drop on that wiring run, and we're going to run it straight up to the inverter. So with that and that wire there, and I think I've got one more red wire, can use that for the contactor power, I think. I almost have all the wiring I need, and you know what, I might just leave those loomed up, you know. Why cut them if I'm going to use something else later, but we'll see. Yeah, I constantly feel like, you know, this is not easy at all. It takes a lot of patience to do this, and obviously I'd rather be doing other things in a lot of ways, but at the same time, I feel like I don't think there's many other people that could do this, and I kind of feel like not only do I have to do it for myself, but I have to do it because there's not many other people that can make this happen, you know. And I was talking to my friend the other day, and you know, the fact is that I've been working in automotive for 20 years and really pushing the envelope to always get all the training I could get and all the experience I could get. And I have the knowledge to do this now, you know, that I didn't have. I have more knowledge than I did 10 years ago when I got it on the road running. Now we're making it safer, battery management system, fuse, breaking the pack in half, contactor in the back, keep all the high voltage loomed together. So, you know, that's some important kind of like motivation to just like make it happen. That there's just not a lot of other chances to do this. And actually, you know, I almost feel like there's just going to be so many lithium batteries from electric cars just like all over the place in 10 or 20 years, you know, and cars that like don't run because of the electronics that are totally screwed, you know. And what an awesome repurpose, you know, of those parts in a much more simple, rudimentary system that's just like, you know, power and ground to the motor, make it safe, you know, and safe as it can be, right? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like what the isolation is on the motor itself and the pack itself, and monitor that. Obviously, there's no HVIL to monitor the high voltage connections. It's just to really seal them off as best as possible. So, yeah. But I'm gonna do a video of the app because that's kind of cool. When I activated the balance operation, it set off a whole bunch of more lights there. And the good news is, like you'll see, is that the cells are all hanging around 3.7, which is great. 3.8, 3.7 is where I think they like to be, because they're lipo. But I do know that when the leaf is fully charged, they're all up to about 4. So, and I think they can go up to 4.25. So that's great. We'll try to see what kind of range we get out of this thing. Thanks for watching. Geo at GeoRides and ConvertTheClassics.com. Thanks.